I really look at the long-term relationships. The partners that you work with, and I'm saying city.
The city that you're working out of.
When you do your event and you leave that city, leave with respect and a good report.
You showed me that your car shows revolve around lifestyle.
No, it's the same thing what we did. They just changed the name. Now it's called Lifestyle Events. This was all imports and cars and lots of other things. Look at it now. It's all 22-inch wheels. There's trucks outside.
Right? Because you got the shows and you got the magazine. What's going on my winners? Welcome back to the Rixmagazine and WinningTints podcast. I am one of your hosts, Mike Winning, aka Mike Sema from WinningTints, and I got my co-host.
What's up, Rico from Rixmagazine? It's going to be a Superfly podcast moment.
Nice. And today we will be talking about the Sema car show, right?
Absolutely.
That went down about 3 months ago. We were there.
We had a great time together.
It was a great time, guys, and we were interviewing a whole bunch of people.
Amazing people that was excited
the
to see.
girls, the models, oh my God.
Everything, it was nice.
But there was one gentleman in particular, his name was
Chris Pantini.
And who's Chris?
He is the marketing director for coopertires.
Big dog. And Cooper's Tires is $1 billion company, right?
Yes, and 100 years old, American made.
Wow, 100-year-old company, guys. Keep in mind, we will be doing other interviews, guys. Rather we go to these car shows, these trade shows, or maybe we catch them on Zoom if they're too far to come to us, FaceTime, or they could come right here to the studio, guys.
That'd be great.
You know, the studio is really close to my shop.
We'd love to have you in person. Actually, yes, it is.
The studio is right behind the shop. So if one of you guys want to come by that has a nice car and you might want some tint or a partial wrap or a full wrap or detailing, paint correction, PPF, paint protection film, then you guys could drop off your car, or when you come pick it up, or if you wait for it, while you're waiting for it, you could come here, you could sit down with us, and we could talk about your journey. We could talk about your life, your story, right?
That'd be great.
Get a couple more eyeballs on
I
you.
think that would be
Maybe
really a good opportunity.
Get some more followers, all right?
Let's go.
And we will be giving away free stuff, right?
Yes. We're going to be giving away free things like car show registration tickets, free spectator tickets, merchandise, merch, and things like that. Tints,
partial detailing, like small detailing, guys. I'm not about to clean your whole dirty ass car for free, right? But you could get like a little mini detail or a partial wrap or something like that. You know, something that has to do with the company that we could give back to the people. And when we get sponsors,
you can get these nice Superfly sweatshirts or Rick sweatshirts or hats.
Maybe like a winning hat. And when we get sponsors, we'll be giving away one of their services, right? Maybe some tires or something like that. I know you got vendors that go to your shows that sell rugs, they sell weed or stuff like that. We can give away some of that stuff. We can give away some of that good stuff.
And we'll make sure we'll mention our sponsors, and that's coming up real soon.
So if you're interested in any of that stuff, you could just hit one of the links down below. You can hit Rico up, or you can hit me up, and, you know, ask us any questions, inquire, or whatnot, and we'll make it happen. All right, guys? All right, so let's get to the beginning of this interview.
I'm excited. Let's go. Over here. Chris, how you doing, old buddy?
Good. How are you?
Look who's here, my old buddy Chris. This is the gentleman who helped push Cooper Tires to the next level in the years that I have worked with him. He's an amazing guy, does big things with Cooper Tires, and still a legend in the industry. Chris, tell me what has been going on. It's such a pleasure to see you, my old friend.
Oh, this is amazing. I haven't seen you for years now. When I first met Rico, he couldn't even grow facial hair. Now look at him. He's got the little thing going, which is great.
I'm hanging in there. I'm trying.
All right, so Rico, so it seems like you and Chris know each other for a long time.
Yeah.
You guys did business in the past. Can you care to elaborate a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely I think I fixed my facial hair. I think it's getting there, so I'm super happy about that. But me and Chris go back. I met him, and actually I met him twice. What kicked off was we met him in Staten Island at a networking event. And we kicked off right there. I did my usual networking around the tables.
Yeah, you're big on networking.
Oh man, I love it. And he was just happened to be at the right place at the right time. We got connected. I dropped the magazine off to him. You know, we touched base.
You remember what this event was?
It was a wheel rim company event. They were announcing some new wheels and rims, and he just so happened to be there at one of the vendors' opening night for their shop. And I was in Staten Island. It was a great time. And then from there, I went out to Sema that year, at the end of the year. And he had told me, if you ever come to Sema, let's talk. So I went out there to Sema, and I ran into him at a Dub magazine after party.
So when you went out to Sema, you weren't like in a booth.
Yeah,
you didn't have a booth.
I didn't have
Sema.
nothing. I just went out there to build relationships,
just to hang out. You didn't go as a media company.
I went as a media, but I also went as networking to find new opportunities.
Okay.
So when I went out there, I started doing what I normally do: talking, watching, interviewing, things like that. And what the purpose of that was just find those openings. One of my friends who owns a shop here in South Jersey said, "Hey, let's go to a Dub party. Come on, let's come hang out." And I said, "Oh, okay," because I know the owner of Dub magazine. I said, "Sure, let's go." So I went, and we wound up going to a separate section. There was 2 parties in one. One was all the VIP players, all the heavy hitters, and then the other one was for everybody in the public. So we were in the back area. We were all having a good time.
You're talking about Sema here, right?
Exactly.
And when we say everybody in the public, we mean just regular business owners.
Well, the after party at the club where they do it at,
that was open to the public.
But they had another separate section where you come pass by, and everybody VIP was in that area. Like the industry best. So basically, everything that had clout was in that room. So we just all right, let's go in there. We chilling. And I just so happened I'm gonna go to the bar. As I went to the bar and I asked for a drink, I just started talking. Next thing you know, I felt the bump, and he goes, "You here?" And I was like, whoa, he was right next to me. He says, "I'm happy you're here." And
he remembered.
Yeah, he remembers. And the cool thing, he says, he told somebody, "Hey, keep an eye on this guy. This is going to be the next best thing out there in the magazine world." And I was excited about that. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then we just started hitting off, talking and bugging out that night. And the next thing you know, he's like, "Let's talk business. Let's see what the numbers are. Let's get it going. Let's see if we can make it happen." And sure enough, the numbers were right. It was perfect for them. He liked what we offered. And there it is.
How long ago was this, Rico?
Oh, man, this was in 2004.
So 2004, so about 20 years ago.
20 years ago, yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And that time, it was amazing. It was a whole new world for me. I had no idea what I was doing. I just jumped in there and said, "I'm not stopping. I'm going to do this." Even though I had a lot of criticism and people telling me it's not ready or it's this or that, I kept pushing through. And every year I kept going back. I kept going back with the support of Coopertires. And then,
So he really was one of your first sponsors for the magazine back then.
Back then, he had a nice, pretty much, if I could find it, it's in one of my issues here. Let me see if I can find that.
Take your time.
He had a nice ad here. He always used to advertise in the magazine, so it was pretty good, and it worked out for us.
Show it up to the camera?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right here, this one.
Yeah, so that was the ad that he used to put out with us in there. It was pretty cool. I really had it was really nice. I remember they sponsored one of my big shows at MetLife Stadium, and this was at the State Fair at MetLife. And they were one of my big sponsors there. They used to bring out their trailers and everything like that. It was really cool. So we had when we signed the deal with them, they supplied this big tractor trailer mobile stage. And he saw the potential, what we had. So we had the DJ, we had the models, we had the cars, we had the magazine. Everything worked well for what they were looking for. So it kind of helped each other. They brought their stage. We managed their marketing materials, and we gave them out to all the events we lined up for the season. So it was pretty cool because he would show up to some of them, and some of them he would just have his team come out, and they would just manage everything with us. And it was a good one-on-one, relationship between us. Great guy. I loved him. And I'm super happy because those interviews could say it all, how we was.
Would you say that he taught you about how to throw good shows and how to work with other potential sponsors?
Yes. He understood the marketing concept of what's out there. He pointed me to the right people. He gave me a lot of advice. He told me what to do, what not to do. And he told me what to push forward with. And I really appreciate that because he believed in me and believed in my company. And over the years, like everything else, it starts great and then, you fade out a little bit because they're in that company. You can never expect them to be with you forever. So in that 3.5 years working with me, they put their time in and then they decided to move in a different direction. And that direction was the rodeo cowboy type tournaments. That was big.
Okay, we're going to get into that.
Yeah, that was...
All right, let's get back to the interview.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Guy is the goat of all goats. He is the man.
Things are going great. It's good to see you here. The show has changed since you and I remember this. If you remember the old days, we used to walk by. This was all imports and cars and lots of other things. Look at it now. It's all 22-inch wheels. There's trucks outside. We can walk under the trucks and look at the trucks. You can't do that old days. It used to be slammed to the ground. Now we can do an interview under a truck and look up and see suspension.
Exactly, and that's another thing that we noticed, that the truck industry has grown tremendously. I see that pretty much a lot of shows. It's hard because when we do our events, they're actually requesting to be on our shows, and we're like, we're not used to this. We're trying to adapt, and we get it because it's the industry changes in like maybe 3 or 4 sides of it. You have your trucks, you have your imports, and then you have your muscle cars, and then you have something that we don't even know what's going to show up, right? Pretty much.
That's exactly it. Like right behind us is an electric vehicle. It's a Brawley. I mean, we've never seen this years ago. It's an electric vehicle. It's a side-by-side, but it's road carrying capabilities. Now you start looking at your car shows, you start thinking about, okay, great, I have all these trucks coming. Where am I going to put them? For this one truck, take up the spots of 2 cars. Do you charge double? No, you charge the same price because of what you're doing for the market is you want to show people the value, how to bring this back together and who you are with Rix. That's important. So we have to welcome everybody in, but the market is changing. We have to adapt.
Exactly, and this is why I tell you, when you're at a Rix show, we adapt. We take everybody in, we show everybody what the industry is about, and the industry is constantly changing, and this is why this gentleman here, who supported and helped Rix Magazine when we were a magazine media, advertised with us. This was the book that he was in.
All right, so let's talk about the experience of you dealing with Cooper tied together with the magazine, right? Because you got the shows and you got the magazine. How does that work? You know, like who do you sit down with to talk about how they're going to look like in the magazine? I know everything for you, placement is very important. Oh, Rix has to be on top of winning. You know what I mean? You know, so how is it that like you get together with them and do those things with a big company like Cooper's?
Well, at that time, he loved I call it guerrilla marketing, very aggressive, hitting the streets, making sure you key in from top to bottom, as I always said this.
So he was doing guerrilla marketing.
I was doing the guerrilla marketing. He needed that.
Okay.
And that was good because while he took care of the corporate side, I took care of the street side. That relationship we had was perfect because we talked a lot. We consulted on what direction we want to go in. I gave him my inputs. He gave me his. And the thing is...
And this was via phone, email, or in person? How did this work?
Always, it was always phone and then sometimes in person when we saw each other at the event. They also had their own tour schedule at the certain racetracks. When they first opened the New Jersey Motorsports in South Jersey, that thing was fresh. It was like way out there. Nobody knew what it was about. It wasn't even on the radar.
It was a track, right?
It was a track, but it was
a race.
Just to race more the Formula cars, high-end, ESPN did a little thing, but it didn't really hit fire yet. Cooper was there, and they needed me to support them. When they were there in the area and they wanted more, they would have me come in and support that trailer or that marketing team. And we would bring what we had to bring in. So it worked for them, and it worked. And when they left, we would stay and continue that name and continue that relationship. The good thing about us is that we kept their values and their name in everybody's ear on the East Coast. So, and that's what I used to do, and that's the way you're supposed to do when you partner with somebody. Some companies may do 1 show, 2, or whatever the relationship the deal you make. But my goal is with Rix, is to continue that long-term relationship, and that's what we had. So like he said in that interview was the value is what they were working on, and the value is what we had back in those days. It was value. So we gave them those values, and we focused on that because Cooper Tire it still is an American-made brand. And it is something.
It's 100 years old, right? Over 100 years old.
Yes.
And it is $1 billion company, guys.
Yes.
Back to the magazine part. How does it work with them and the magazine?
Well, again, like anything else, it was a magazine back then was big. Social media was not out as much as it was only MySpace, maybe Facebook, but wasn't that heavily used. Everybody still relied on magazines. That was the Instagram of everything, like that was it. So everybody still pushed their information on the publication, and they used this as one of their source of information.
And you didn't just put your own shows in the magazine. You actually put other shows in the magazine as well too, right?
Well, this was about for everybody.
When a big company like Cooper's is using a whole page to advertise, do you sit down with them and talk to them about that, about what they want seen, or you make that up and show them?
I usually make it up myself. So I do everything, what I think they should be seeing, So on that point is that I really try to just put something nice for everybody to like see it in them and go, wow, that's great. They trust me, and the people I work with always trust me. I never go out of my way to fail them, and I always try to go above and beyond. So in those relationships, I'm gonna always continue. And again, as we spoke about this is coming back out. This is all in play. It does take time.
Magazine is coming back out.
Yes, it's coming. I mean, that's the last mission I have in me. And if it's the last thing I've ever do, this is going to happen. So this is the last puzzle between everything else we're going on. This is going to happen.
The hardcover magazine.
Yes.
People that are on the hardcover or whatever is on the back, I'm guessing they have to kind of pay or be more popular to be on certain parts of the magazine. Maybe have like a fold out, kind of like a Playboy centerfold type thing.
No. So one thing about the magazines, I know other magazines have charged people to be in it. I think that's a little crazy. I only charge the advertisers.
Like Cooper's.
Yes, all advertisers, anything from mom and pop shops to corporate will support, because they're here to support the car generation that's coming out. So for me to charge an automotive guy to be in a magazine, I'm not comfortable with that. So it's almost like say, hey, you're amazing, your car's amazing, this needs to be seen. Yes, on Instagram, it's going to be seen all around the world. But can we talk about it?
So how would you say is the difference between the magazines back in the days when there was no Instagram and social media now, like Instagram, and how you place people that are popular or that are, have a big following or whatnot?
Yeah, I mean,
what's the difference in that?
So it's cool that you can use their following to mention that they're in the magazine. I get it. But our magazines are going to be designed for whoever fits that publication. So whatever we coming up with, we say, this is the Euro, this is the American, this is the Japanese. Each page is going to have those type of things to kind of break it up a little bit. So there's some diversity in there, and that's what I want to do. So I'm focusing on that and the fashion and other things and gadgets and everything you can imagine. What you can't do much on Instagram. In Instagram, you got to keep searching for these items. I'm gonna put them all in there, in this area, and you can read it. You may not even read it. You might just look at your car is featured in it, or other people want to see what you would done. But then they could go to the next page and say, "Oh wow, look at this in there, look at that in there."
Yeah, so you're making it more like of an art piece.
Yes, it's a collective. Again, this is gonna be the collection issue of certain issues. We're gonna only start off with 3 a year, and then we used to do 6 a year, but I think right now 3 a year will be fine. And then if it does progress back in there, then we'll go back to 6.
So kind of like how, something you put on your bookshelf or your table that somebody could grab, look at, not mess up, right? Because magazines have a tendency of getting thrown around a lot. Yeah. This is not like that. This is like a high-end comic book. Yeah. Or a collector's item.
Nowadays, some will look at this quick and then go right back onto an Instagram. So we're going to give them both. You could go on Instagram or you can go on the page. This gives you more detail, because you can write the article, you could go into details, you go into specs. You can't do that on Instagram unless you're doing, a quick little movie, but you only have so much time on that, a little video shoot, but that's not enough. So, and then you got to go on YouTube, and here you go sitting there. So this is just a quick update, quick reading, quick specs, a quick idea of what you expect to have or what you want to, and then from there you follow the person.
So let's get back to the interview.
Sure.
Let's see what else y'all talked about.
Okay, I'm excited for this. Chris has always gave me points, saw my ups and downs, and saw potential in Rix Magazine. But I'm super happy because, again, I'm proud to be back here at Sema 2024, an amazing venue to be at every year. And Cooper Tire is the American brand that supports the industry. This man knows what the future is. And Chris, what do you see is going to happen in the next couple of years? What do you think? You think the EV is going to take over everything now? What do you think for that?
It's tough. Personally, I do not think EV is going to take it all over. I think we'll see some sort of hybrid, plug-in hybrids. It's going to take a while to get to the EV market. At the end of the day, people want to get where they're going. They like these big trucks. It's going to go down that path.
All right. So he talked about EVs, right? And we be talking about this a lot, how the electric vehicles are taking over everything. They're already super faster.
Yes.
They're becoming more popular in the shows. You see them coming around heavily modified.
Yes.
What do you think about that? Do you think that the EVs will take over? Like you asked him, you know, there's trucks that are coming through and they're electric as well.
Yeah.
You could do a lot with them. You heard about the Cybertruck, right?
Yes. I do know again, Tesla is always pulling through what they have, and their new Cybertruck can hold the weight. I was worried about the weight because keep in mind, you see the monster trucks they have big tires and big suspension. Can the battery handle all that weight and everything else? The battery is only designed for the frame itself, but now when you add all these other features, can it sustain and carry that weight? Will it drain the battery? Like anything else that would drain the battery, right?
Well, he did say that hybrids would be the next big thing, and I agree with him.
Yeah.
You know, a car that can run fully on electric.
Yep.
And you could just press a button and run on gasoline if you have to. If your battery dies, you know, you press a button, it switches over to gas. You could go get gas and keep going.
Correct.
Because don't nobody want to be sitting around waiting for their car to charge up, right?
Not an hour. I can't sit there, like literally seeing them people sitting there. All of a sudden, they got time for that. Yeah. Like, you see them? They got time to sit there. I'm like, what's going on here? So it's kind of funny, but you're right. The hybrid think it's the safest bet.
While we were at the Sema,
yes,
we noticed a whole bunch of old school cars that were transformed into electric, right?
Yeah.
And that was super cool. You know, a lot of like 1960, 1970 cars that they took the whole gas engine out and put an electric engine in.
Yeah.
Kind of like that movie with Justin Timberlake, right? Where they got the time on their hands and stuff.
Yeah, that was cool.
So, you know, until the technology gets there where we could charge our cars with the sun faster, you know, like some solar power car or just have a faster charger that's similar time to like a gas station fill up, then I believe that Chris is right.
Yeah,
it's going to be a hybrid thing. My ex-wife has one of those.
Okay.
And, you know,
how's that drive?
When we were together, I used to drive it a lot.
Okay. And you enjoyed it?
Man, 50 miles per gallon. Hey.
Well, we had it in Las Vegas for one day.
It was nice and quiet. We did have one when we went to the Sema show.
Yes, we had it for one day.
You loved it, right?
I really did.
We never filled up the gas tank.
I was like, is this thing going to die or what?
Yeah, we drove around a lot.
Yeah, it was fun.
So I believe, the hybrid cars is really what is going to be very popular until they can figure out a solution for the charging.
Yes.
And speeding that up some way, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get back to the interview.
Las Vegas.
Educate the consumer, educate your fan base, but stay true to who you are, and that's what's going to make Rick successful.
I have to say thank you because Chris was the man who believed in myself and many others and helped put us on the map. So, Chris, I still want to know one thing. Are you still in the bull tournament venues? I used to love that a lot. That was something you were very happy to do. Is that still part of your tours or what?
We're still doing professional bull riding, PBR. Nice. We were just in Vegas last week for the team championship. The 2024 season starts November 8th in Tucson, Arizona. I'm doing bulls, I'm doing cars, I'm doing trucks. I'm all over the place.
So you are still supporting the industry and doing tours and things like that like you used to do, or did it change from what I remember, the excitement, the entertainment, the bells and whistles? Let's make noise and let them know you're here.
No, it's the same thing what we did. They just changed the name. Now it's called lifestyle events. So no more car shows, they're lifestyle events.
All right, so he said no more car shows, now they're lifestyle events, which you showed me that your car shows revolve around lifestyle. You know, you'll have the sneaker show, clothes, maybe some type of a hip hop artist is performing.
Yeah.
What I'm noticing is that these car shows, they're becoming more of a lifestyle thing.
Yeah, I think it's much more fun to try to pull as much different things to make it into a, you know, like I said, a lifestyle event. But what type of lifestyle, right? Like it just got to find what makes sense to everybody's eyes. And that is to make it an eye candy show. I like it all automotive, but I like to switch it up. I really want to try to do as much as I can to make things different so that everybody goes, you know what, I wasn't thinking of going, but I'm gonna go because I'm attracted to this. I'm attracted to that, like bringing the Comic-Con people in, right? So now my next thing is to bring another type of source in, another different source in. I don't want to say what it is, but when they do see it at the next Rick shows, they'll be like, wow, that's pretty cool. I didn't think he was gonna do that.
Yeah.
You know?
So, you know, you did kind of talk about that in an interview where you want to work with people, but at the same time, they have to kind of add some value.
Yes.
And sometimes they have to pay.
Yes.
And they got to work their way up, right?
Yes.
Whose phone is that? Is that yours?
No, I don't think it is mine.
I think it is, yeah.
If it is mine, I thought I did.
Can you put it over there, please?
Sure. Oh, it is. I apologize. I turned the ringer off.
He's going to grab it for you.
I'm sorry.
All right, just give it to him.
Don't take my phone away from me. Sorry.
Okay, let's see.
Right.
Look at good guys, for example, Jeep Jamborees, Bronco Stampedes. Everything we're doing is the exact same as when we first started this years ago. They just changed the name. That's all it is.
So we could say when Rick does it, we are now known as I'm About That Life. That's our new slogan. We've been working with that. And our slogan has been very big in the industry. We're all about something, and we are about this industry. Definitely got to get this man back on the East Coast, because when we used to do things, we did it big. Am I right? We did a good job when we worked out there?
Always. I mean, the number of cars, number of consumers that came through, the shows, the trophies, everything was done to perfection. And you're ahead of the game. With your new slogan, being part of the lifestyle crowd, it all fits in together.
The venues that we choose now are amazing. We don't choose regular parking lots, venues that bring a brand awareness and quality to the shows. That's what making us a little unique and different. I mean, getting a venue is great, but it has to be unique. It has to set the standard. Do you agree?
Well, I agree. I mean, you brought up the example before, Resorts World, items like those. That's going to resonate more with the consumer as well as other sponsors. When you show them the value of where you're doing it, what you're doing, that's going to bring it all together, make it much happier for everybody. Going back to the educational aspect of what you're doing, it's not just a car show. You're educating the consumer. That's the best thing we can do.
He mentioned consumer and educating the consumer.
Yeah.
He also mentioned sponsors, right? So, you know, I noticed that your shows are kind of like, they revolve more around family and entertaining people.
Yeah.
Whereas a car show like the Sema car show, it's more about businesses and stuff. Can you talk about a little bit about the differences between your shows where you got to kind of entertain people and a show like the Sema car show?
Well, again, Sema, when you go in there, it's designed for shop owners. Again, people that wants to find new technology for their business, find new source of other things to work with. So that's what that's designed for.
Where the sponsors in your car shows, right? They're like business owners that are trying to
get their brand out there.
Get their brand out there, maybe generate leads or find customers to come buy stuff from them.
Correct.
There's also people that sell merchandise in your car shows as well, or food, edibles, things of this nature.
Okay, so the vendors that we have our shows, they're usually independent, so that's okay. And then there are some shop owners that just want to do a little more aggressive. They could become great sponsors as well. And then there's the manufacturers that they want to really, you know, find another partner to work with to get their brand out there.
When you deal with a sponsor in your show, do you try to educate them onto how, like, to be a good sponsor at your show, how to represent their own company? Do you help them get maybe tents and tables?
I do. I always, when a vendor or a sponsor comes with me, I really want them to grow. Like, I don't need them to just come and go. I really look at the long-term relationships. So I really want to see, because at the end of the day, it's a joint effort. We both got to look good at this, right? When you look good, we all look good. And if I look good, you look good.
Yeah, it's a win-win.
Right. So I don't want to be, oh, yeah, come to my show, let me take your money. I mean, anybody could do that. But I really like to see the efforts of that vendor really step their game up, because I love to see them doing big things. So when they're at my event, yes, I can't always be with them when they're there at the show, but I really am inspired by seeing them doing super, like, wow, look how good they look over there. Look at the amount of crowd that's in that section for them. that's great because that's what they were looking for. So I like when I see that. Some are good, some are negative, you know. Some are like, oh, I didn't get anybody. Well, maybe because your booth didn't look great. Maybe you didn't promote yourself right?
Like me, right?
Yeah.
You know, I come through and I put the shittiest booths together.
Sometimes you don't even put up a booth, and
so
it kind of hurts me and upset me because
I just go there to hang out.
You're there.
I'm supposed to work, but actually I'm shopping.
You're just walking around drinking.
Terrible.
No,
right?
he's terrible. But
for what it's worth, you know, I actually do stuff behind
I know
the
you
scenes
do, but I do
that a lot of people don't know about.
Right.
Yeah.
But the trick is you put a lot of efforts into me. When you invest and you with me, is that I need to make sure that name is being seen, right? That's
absolutely.
the job.
For other sponsors, I mean, like I can understand that because you want them to come back to your shows and be vendors or sponsors with you in the future. Yeah. Because I'm guessing that some people they go to the show, it doesn't go the way they thought it would go, and then they never come back. They're not like me that it always goes bad and I keep coming back.
And that's because we understand each other and we've been supporting each other and we started as strangers and now we're best friends.
No, I know.
Right?
I mean, it's different with me and you. But I'm talking about other people.
Others. You have to work with them. And remember, keep in mind, it is a business and they might get a quick bad taste. Like last show, it was windy, it was crazy. And some were not happy with that, but we don't control the God's winds,
Maybe they didn't get a return on their investment that same day.
Right. And
because I noticed the return on my investment with everything I do with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the future.
Yes.
And I understand that. You know, I make YouTube videos. I don't get that much money from each YouTube video. But I do get leads and people inquiring about my business in the future.
Correct.
So I can understand that very well.
You see the long term return on
absolutely,
that. And you're patient enough to understand that.
Yep.
Some people do not understand that. They want it quickly, and I don't get the return. Bad event, bad. And I'm like, that's not the way it works. You're there to kind of build and grow. And they don't get that in their head. They're like, oh, I want instant sales. I didn't make any money, so I don't know about that. I'm like, here we go.
And that's why these shows, like the Sema shows, they're a little bit different.
Yes.
Because the vendors that are there or the sponsors, they're already people that have made it. Yeah. You can say, right?
Yeah, they're there. And another thing is you cannot buy on the spot. You're there to take pre-orders. And then later they follow up with those orders to close the deal and then ship the parts to their stores, whatever they need to do, right? Mm-hmm. So again,
it's more like building relationships.
Yeah, it's building relationships. How much, like anything else, you cannot sell, but you're finding the parts and things you need, and then you put an order. Hey, I need 20 of those. I need 5 of those. I need 6 of those. That's the orders that they put in. So it's a great thing, especially for you and your department.
It is similar, though, to a vendor or a sponsor in your show and someone that's at the Sema car show.
Yeah.
I would assume it's just on a whole other level.
It's a very big whole other level. And they're there for, I think it's 1 week for their show?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they're there for a couple of days straight.
It's really, really stressful.
They're coming from different parts of the world or America, and they have a lot of stuff there.
Yeah. And keep in mind, I used to go there when I started the magazine. I would fly every year to Sema, and I remember I used to get cold shoulders. Like, oh, you're not ready yet. Come back to us when the magazine. They would look at it, but I would make so much noise on the East Coast, and they kept coming back. And every year they kept saying, we're watching you. We're watching you. You're almost there. And I remember that one time when I went back, and it was like that was the day, like the year of the year where everybody stopped me and says, all right, we're ready. Let's talk numbers. What do you got? And it was like a holy bless. I was like, oh my God. And it was like one after another. JL, Kicker, coopertires. It was just everybody coming in. And I was like, wow, what is going on here? They sponsored me. And that was a great marriage between the audio and the tire industry. And I had a great support from both of them.
So would you say it's kind of like a bandwagon type of thing where companies see, other companies jumping on board and everybody else wants to, right? They got their little fear of missing out or something.
Yeah, it was pretty, that's what exactly what you're saying there. It was pretty cool because I remember when we did the Live Loud Tour 2010, Kicker, coopertires, we rocked out with that one. That was great. And then, but the magazine, even though we had sponsors, and the magazine still was open to all other brands. Yeah. We could not say this is exclusive for them. They could be exclusive for the shows, but they cannot be exclusive for the magazine. That was open to all brands. They just had a nice deal to get the magazine, the car show, other things we were doing, whatever we put on the table, they had a piece of that. That was for them. So I was happy and proud to put these books out. It was a lot of effort and a lot of work, a lot of investment. But I could say out of all the car show producers, I was one of those guys that were able to say I did it. I've been there, done it, right? Yeah. So a lot of people can knock me for that, say this or say that, but I am one of those guys that said I've been there and done that.
Yeah, let's see what else we got going on in the interview.
And as you know, that's what we were good at, because when you get a venue, you look at the clickable and you look at the attendees. Anything in the parking lot can be done, but looking at where the audience is coming from. Like, for instance, when we do Green Acres Mall, Superfly Sunday, this is our third season there. Another 6,000 people. The mall likes it. Macy's, all of them are excited. T-Mobile wants to be another sponsor for us for next year. These are people seeing the value of the audience and the attendants that are coming to the show. The mall is excited that we're there. Finding venues like that to give the value that you and others are looking for, and that's what makes great shows. Companies that see that, understand that. Not just the Instagram metrics number, it's bringing the audience is what they're looking for.
That's a good point that you made right there in that part, where we're trying to get people to get out of their house and come to an event, right? Talk about the challenges of trying to get people to get up and get out their homes and come to like one of your shows, you know, because everybody kind of wants to just stay home nowadays and look through the internet or watch TV, Netflix or something like that. Yeah. People don't really like to get up and move too much. So what is it that you got to talk to them about? What do you got to say? What do you got to promote to get them to get up and come to you?
I like that feeling of everybody just walking around, seeing things and everything. And also cost effective. Our prices are very reasonable. And getting them to the right venue, the right location is where it counts. So I love very populated areas. So if you notice, I'll stay focused around the areas where there's more density, more easy flow, so they don't have to travel so far. That's usually where I throw my events at. And I pick unique venues where it has never been done. I done it. Now I open the door for you. Now you try. Anybody can do it at a racetrack. Anybody can do it at these type of like simple parking lots. They're very simple to do. It's a piece of cake. But when you find a very difficult venue and have to put more money to secure it, to make it safe for people, to make it exciting, it's a lot of extra, resources you got to put out there. So some promoters like to just get that easy money, call it a day, take the shortcuts. But these people want to see live interactive events. What you sell, you must deliver, right? And that's very hard to do. So if we're going to do our two-step, our drifting, our racing, we have to stick to those things. Sometimes they don't happen. Like I had an event that was supposed to happen and it got canceled. To the universe didn't line up. Things came up. It's okay. It happens.
That's rough. Yeah, right? Yeah, because there's so many different moving parts to your shows, like with the drifting and all that. Yeah. And everybody's setting up for it. And sometimes, weather could mess things up. Or,
city might not want it.
At the last minute, right?
It's not designed. Some of these, when I was doing it, I wasn't designed for that. So it put a lot of alarms and bells. We got away with it one or two times, but the third time, all eyes was on us again. And then you have other people making their phone calls to try to, topple you down.
Like the haters, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, I hate to say it, but yeah, there's people that don't want to see you succeed and sometimes it becomes from your own backyard, So you just got to just keep low, keep moving, show me your results, find the right partners like the way you and I are, and just keep moving forward, There's still great people. Look, I remember when I first, rocked out with you and started moving, people were just in my ear, don't mess with him. I'm like, here we go again. It happens.
Really?
And I'm sure
guys?
Yeah, and I'm sure they said about you and me. I mean, and because they failed, they want you to fail, right?
For what it's worth, everybody tells me every day not to mess with you. You know what I mean?
And I know.
Every single day.
My wife, every day.
When I wake up.
Yes. I can imagine your wife, the kids,
everybody
your brother.
Around here, not Rico.
Here we go. Kidding. We're doing another one. No, but the thing about it is I always watch those people a lot, and I keep them around because I like to see them continue telling me not to go that direction, and I know what they're about. So I keep working harder to go in the direction I want because I know it's gonna work. Because you got to find out, no matter what.
So basically, you kind of got to switch it up, and keep it fresh and new and exciting, right?
You have to. All promoters have to do this. They have to find something. You know, I try to tell them all. It does cost to find a good venue. But if you truly love this game, you have to spend money to really make it happen. And it don't matter who you are. Anybody can do this. You just got to have the passion to make it happen. And it's not easy. It's a lot of work.
Absolutely. You know? I can imagine. Let's continue with the interview.
Guys, remember, if you want to get to these guys, you got to put your work in. You got to look at the real numbers, not the Instagram, the true numbers that they want. We call it what? The clickable, the walkable at the door? Is that what you're looking for?
That's exactly it. And at the end of the day, it's not their cost. It's an investment. They're investing in you. They're investing in that market to get their return. So they can't look at it as a cost aspect. It's an investment. And here's where you want to invest. There is going to be a fee involved with it, and you have to pay something. It's not exorbitant. It's not going to break the bank, but you're providing a value for them to get there. So that's what you want to do. Make it family friendly, be able to bring the entire family with you, enjoy it as an aspect together.
Perfect. Now, one thing. What's new for the end of 23 and going into 2024? What's the big thing at Cooper Tires this year? What do you have?
We launched 3 new products. We have a new tire for all performance all season. We have a new truck tire that came out, and we have a new mid-range type product.
In the East Coast, who do you have carrying the Cooper Tires this year?
Go to coopertire.com, put your zip code in, and it'll tell you whoever's closest to your area that way.
There it is. That's it. The man himself, the legend, the GOAT, the guy who helped put rixmagazine on the map. This is the man that I'm grateful, always loyal to. Love him no matter what, good or bad. This was the guy. Thank you, Chris. It's such an honor to have you back in my presence, my good old friend.
Great seeing you.
Signing out, rixmagazine, sponsored by WinningTints. I love him,
That was a good interview, man.
He was a good guy. He's a great guy. Listen,
you mentioned good or bad, this or that. Yes. Did you guys have a little bit of?
We had a little friction of some people that got into our heads, and that was towards the end of the seasons of something of a 4-year span, and at that time I was going through a very emotional time with divorce and things like that, and that's what actually happens. Yeah, it happens. You know, my kids were growing up, and I had to focus. That's when I left the industry in 2011, and it was a troubled time. But my kids were more important. They were going into college, and they were moving on, and divorce, and so I needed to get into that and focus on that. You know, so and I needed time off. I really do needed to be more healthier. Mindset, I'm super happy.
You think you burnt yourself out a little bit?
I did. I worked every season, summer. My kids can go to the beach with me. We couldn't do nothing because I was constantly working. That was my time off. And then in the fall, I was flying out to Sema to try to get more opportunities.
Do you feel like now is similar to back then? Yeah, that you're burning yourself out a little bit now?
I am burning myself out because
I think it takes an individual like yourself to do something like this.
But there highly are many motivated, more individuals like me out there, like you and others. But again, we all need our place. We all need to know where we at. Can I do what you do? I'm sure if I learn, but I don't want to. Yeah. That's why we are where we are. We all find our lane and we move on. And this is where I tell people, if this is what you want to do and you want to focus on this, do it right, do it smart. Remember your partners, the partners that you work with, and I'm saying city is one great partner. Police.
You mean like the city that you're working out of?
Wherever you doing the event, make sure you have a great rapport with them. Make sure you leave when you do your event and you leave that city, leave with respect and a good report. You do not want to leave chaos in their cities or their towns because then you ruin it for other promoters and you ruin it for going back to that venue. So it's important to make sure that we all work together, that others can have another opportunity to do their event, because that's what it's about. That's something we're going to talk about in another topic, because I really want to bring that to the table about how these car shows are being managed and run and where there's friction and drama. But that's another topic, and I really think we should touch base on that. I think it's great.
Yeah. On the next one, guys.
Yeah.
On the next one, I guess we could wrap that up with that being said. I know Rico, he could be here all day.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, he loves it.
And Sema loves questioning me like I'm on.
I love listening.
I did something wrong. But the good thing is we're excited. Yes, I know. But the good thing about it is that he's got great questions, and I love.
I'm very curious, people. Yeah. I'm a very curious individual.
Yeah.
I mean,
smart at what he does. Very smart.
I've been around you a lot more, and it's a mystery to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, how does this man do all these things? And I'm guessing that I'm not the only person that wonders about this. It's difficult to have all the pieces that are moving all move in at the same time. Choreographed to perfection.
That your customer service you have to deal with, the people if they're not happy. A lot of it's a lose and a gain. And at the end of the day, it's a customer service. Like me, when I do the car shows, customer service is important. It's very hard.
And there's a lot of customers.
Oh, my God.
You're like bunching up all your customers into one day.
Shot to attack you or say something great or bad, right? You'll get like different. Maybe you'll get 30 customers a day because I see you're very busy. But imagine 1,000 to 3,000 people.
Everybody.
That's tough. It's not going to be easy, but you
Definitely
will find
not
that
easy.
Yes.
So with that being said, guys, to the next one, remember to subscribe. We are doing this every week. This is our third episode, right?
And
we do together. But I have hundreds of episodes that I've done live already. So
check out their page. Check out Rick's. Check out our Instagram. It's
the links will be down below everywhere you want to go. And remember, we will be giving away free stuff.
Yeah, we're going to start that real soon. We're starting it real soon. The more you watch, and what's going to happen in these giveaways, we're going to ask you about our past podcasts to see if you're paying attention. Right?
We got to figure out how people win.
Yeah.
We got to, give credit where credit is due.
Exactly.
We got to, give prizes to our day ones.
We got our shows coming up to give away those free passes, free tickets.
Yep.
So we have a lot of good stuff that we're going to be giving out.
We're going to tie it together with the shows.
Yes.
Really well.
Yes.
And we will be doing more interviews. Either here, either through Zoom or FaceTime, or we'll be going to other shows to do interviews with other people.
Yeah.
So if you're somebody that's interested in getting interviewed by us, by all means, hit us up. Hit Rick's info at rixmagazine up. Hit the winning thing up. Just go down. Like I said, the link's below.
Yeah, you could do the DMs. You could do the whatever you want to do. We're easy to be contacted. Ask your questions.
Just drop your questions in the comments below, right? If you're on YouTube or if you're on Instagram or something, drop your questions either in on my page or Rick's page, and we'll get those questions and answer them here while we do these shows.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think that would be great.
Rico, man,
listen,
it was awesome.
Another great one.
We will be showing more of the Sema car shows.
Yeah, the Sema.
It's just so much that we did, guys.
It was a great.
We can't put it all out in one episode. It'll be like 5 hours long. We're trying to shrink our episodes down, right?
Yeah, right. Keep it in about an hour, half an hour. I don't know.
An hour is good. I mean, half would be a little better, but we'll feel it out. You guys let us know. You want longer shows or shorter shows?
Let us know. Absolutely.
So next time, guys, winning.
Superfly, Rick's Mag. That's the guy.
First met Rico, he couldn't even grow facial hair. Now look at him. He's got the little thing going, which is great.